Alright, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy PXG Cash Hour coming at you with week 14 of the Pokemon Forever Association League battles. Last week we beat Vinny and the Los Angeles Lucarios. So this week is actually our last match of the season, even though there is a week 15. But the coach who would have been our opponent for week 15 had quit the league. We get a 3-0 bye. So this essentially would be considered the final battle of the season for me in week 14 versus Epic and the Indy Latis. This is actually my first time battling Epic with my own team, as I've had to battle Epic previously substituting for a different coach with his own poke, and we didn't win then. So hopefully this time around, we're able to do it, with our own pokes. So I decided to bring in Hitmontop, Volcarona, Suicune, Black Kyurem, Mega Guard, and Electros. And Epic is bringing in Caesar, Porygon 2, Terrakion, Milotic, Mismagius, and Kecleon. Now it's a little interesting as he's essentially bringing in, I think, about 2 pokes almost in all his tiers, because he brought his 2 of his OUs, he brought 2 of his UUs, he bypassed his entire RU and then brought 2 of his NUs, which is fine. We're bringing in Electros. Electros hasn't seen much play in our league matches for good reason. Everyone else coming in strong as per usual. So let's see what happens. Week 14 of the Pokemon Forever Association. The Puerto Rican Panchams taking on the Indy Latis. Alright, Epic is a choosing that challenge. He says that Mavicio, the Kecleon. Probably butchered that name, but we'll go along with it. I lead off with my Hitmontop, which is a decent lead. Intimidate, because it's probably going to be a physical attacking one. Goes for the Shadow Sneak, because the Protean now becomes a Ghost type, so I can't touch it with my fighting moves. Luckily I did kind of see a little bit ahead of that, and I decided to Toxic it instead. Recover some energy with the leftovers. Poison kicking in for Mavicio. So I recall my Hitmontop, and I believe I go into my Suicune. Apply that pressure. Epic withdraws his Mavicio and goes into Milobellus, the Melodic. A battle of the bulky water types. Nah, we ain't having that. Not yet. Going to Electros. He goes for the Scald. And if everyone ever wondered why I rarely bring in Electros, it's because of this. Electros gets burned almost 9 times out of 10 when I'm running a physical set, which hinders me. So I go for the knockoff. It won't do much damage because of burn, but at least I get the leftovers off of a Milotic. I guess I get damage because of the burn. He goes for Scald again. Pretty low on health. I go for the Volt Switch to get out of there. It's just a decent chunk, luckily because it's a special attacking move. And I go into Vera Wang, the lady herself. Trace, obviously Marvel Scale. Yep. So he withdraws Milobellus. Goes into Gottlieb, the Caesar. So, as I always do, first turn Mega Evolve. And I believe I hit it with Hyper Voice. I was kind of hoping that would kill, but then I didn't think this through much, and I decided to stay in. And that is a dead Vera Wang. So we're already looking at a 5v6 situation. So I go into Volcarona and go for the Fiery Dance, because I know this will probably kill it without fail. And Golati, the Caesar is down, so we're at a nice 5-5. He goes into Bruno, the Terrakion. I'm not staying in because that is a rock type. So I go into Hitmontop because at least my Intimidate, besides resisting the rock moves, I can Intimidate and lower his physical attacks. Goes to the Stone Edge. That probably would have killed Walker when I rested in. Barely does anything to Hitmontop. Look at me still dancing without a care in the world. So he withdraws Bruno and goes into Mylobella's the Melodic again. So I go straight for the close combat, thinking he probably would have stood in. We almost killed Mylobella's. I recover some health with the leftovers. He goes straight for the recover. Bring him almost to 75% to his health. I went for the Toxic. I do miss, which is better for me, I think, in the long run. I don't think I actually want to increase his physical defense. But I swap out. I go into Suicune, predicting the Scald. It's incoming. And there it is. And I get I get burned again. Luckily, Suicune doesn't really care about that. Electros, on the other hand, does. So I go for Calm Mind. Increase my special attack and special defense because I know I'm not going to be able to hit this Melodic for much. Anyway, with my moves. Goes for Recover, bringing him up to full health again. And then we're going to get an increase with leftovers and a decrease with burn. I think put us just about a little bit less than where we started off at. So he withdraws Mylobella's and goes into HXD, the Porygon 2, who traces our pressure. I go for the Scald. I don't get the burn. I also forgot how bulky this thing was, but it might be especially defensive, and with the added Eviolite, it's probably sitting at a nice special defensive stat. So I go for a second Calm Mind. He goes for Thunderbolt, which doesn't do much because we had a +2. Again, get the recovery in, lose because of burn. I go for the rest so that way I can get the burn off of me, which at this point is kind of a little annoying. So we go back to full health. He uses Psych Up. It's pretty bad because now he copied our +2 special attack and special defense. Go for the Sleep Talk. Get a Calm Mind, so that puts us at +3 special attack and special defense. But if this thing is especially invested in attack, added to special defense, he's doing a lot. I believe at this point I was panicking a little bit because I withdrew Suicune and I believe I went into Kyurem, who I thought would probably take the electric attack, but he went straight for Tri-Attack. It's just a decent amount. I go for Dragon Claw, which doesn't do as much as I had hoped. One more Tri-Attack, and Kyurem goes down. 4v5. I go into Electros. Porygon 2 is much faster, and Electros is also gonna go down. So now we're at a 3v5. I go into Hitmontop, lowering the his attack, which is non-existent. Go for the close combat, which I probably should have done from the get-go. And down goes Porygon 2. Oh, and it was a crit. So probably the trade-off of the 2 burns from earlier. Porygon 2 goes down after annihilating a third of the team all by himself. So he goes into Raja, which is the Mismagius. I switch out and go into Suicune, who's still asleep. Apply that pressure. He goes for the energy ball. This does a lot because we are weak to it. So I can't even stay even though I wanted to, so we go out. Because just in case he goes for it again, we go into Volcarona. And there it is. We resist it. And that was a crit, ironically. That probably would have been bad if I left Suicune in. Goes into Bruno, the Terrakion. So I clicked Fiery Dance. Probably won't do much, because he resists fire. So I recall because I saw the Stone Edge from before. So I go back into Hitmontop. I was probably expecting another Stone Edge from... but he goes for close combat. Part of me wondered if I should have just stood in and hoped that he got burned off of that for touching Naughty Boy. But I know he's not going to stay in because he just lowered his own defenses. Yep, there he goes. And out comes out Raja, the Mismagius again. Probably thinking I'm going to close combat, but I went for the Toxic instead again. Now this thing could learn, I believe, Psychic and Dazzling Gleam, so I don't think I stood in. Actually, no. No, he didn't stay in. Goes straight into Bruno again. Cause I tried. Oh no, we did double out. Then go into Volcarona. He goes for Rock Slide. I think at this point I thought I was faster because I had a Choice Scarf, but at this point I realize now that he is also Choice Scarfed. And Volcarona goes down. I think that was a crit on top of that. We're looking at 2v4 is not looking good for us at all. Suicune is still asleep. Goes in back into Raja, who's probably gonna Energy Ball us. So I try my luck with the Sleep Talk. And we get the rest. Which is a wasted roll. You get some health back up with the Leftovers recovery. The poison does do little to Raja, but I don't think we stay in. We go back, yeah. Back out to Suicune. Goes for the Energy Ball. So this thing might be Scarfed also, or it could be a Choice Spect. Because anytime that I swapped out, it swapped out. As opposed to just staying in and continue using Energy Ball. Yep, there it goes again. Back into Bruno. I think at this point I tried to stay in and Sucker Punch it, but I failed. Get some health back up. Go back into Suicune, which at this point is the only plays I can kind of do right now, in hoping that Suicune kind of wakes up and can tank some of these hits. Goes for close combat. I barely live it at 10 HP, but I don't think I wake up this turn. No. One more close combat and Suicune is eliminated. So we're looking at 1v4. Out comes out Hitmontop. Intimidate brings his attack down. He goes for close combat again. We do live. And we go for the close combat in return. And Bruno the Terrakion is gonna go down. But this is not looking good for us at all in a 1v3 situation with 2 special attacking pokes and 1 annoying poke. So out comes out the Milotic. Sucker Punch, because I know it's probably going to hit me. There goes the Scald. And Hitmontop goes down after doing pretty good. So we lose this fight. Alright, good matches to Epic and the Indy Latis. And we take a L for our final game of the season. We do qualify for the playoffs. Ironically, depending on everyone else who's fighting in week 15, determines where I'm going to be ranked at. I am guaranteed in, but we don't know where I'm going to fall into the brackets. The only known guarantee is that the team that's been in first place, which we have not fought at all during the season, which is the Los Angeles Kings, is guaranteed going to be in first place. Everything after that, it's kind of like a we'll see what happens. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you guys tune in to watch the first fight of the playoffs for us and give us that luck. Laters.